Excellent. Superman, let's rock this. So we have a bunch of questions that came in, and one of the big questions that has come up for a lot of people that I've been working with is how did we get to 100K in revenue in under 7 months with our monthly mastery community, I call it the Life and Business Mastery Community. And I decided I'd just go through, because we learned so much in the last year and a half to get there, I just go through and film a live cast. So I set that up, got that ready. It's gonna be a week from this Saturday, April 14th, 2018. If you wanna get in it or go after it or learn from it, awesome. We got early bird access going on. Feel free to jump over to bit.ly/membership training. bit.ly/membership training. You get all the details there. Just want to make sure that as people are trying to develop in this what we call Netflix generation, this idea of serving in better ways, helping people through process, but also keeping perspective, because keeping perspective equals what? Recurring revenue, that we're really propelling down the path of success without having to go through a lot of the struggle. That's the hardest part of this. So we tested and measured all these things, like summed up 7 lessons, 7 things that if I was gonna start over that I wanna absolutely avoid. So that's over here at that address, bit.ly/membership training. That all being said, I got all these questions. And so what I do nowadays is I print them, and then I write the name of who the question's from. And then it's easy in the replays for people to skim through and find when I show their name, and they get their answers. So Brent, who came on Facebook and asked this beautiful question, this is for you, man. And Brent and I, we go back to, I don't want to say middle school maybe, just a couple years ago, helping him. I guess I've been helping him through these video replays on Facebook. He really has been enjoying this whole process of me sharing these clips and doing some live casts and all these kind of things. So here's his question. And the reason I'm doing this one first is because a lot of people have asked something similar, and I just want to make sure I'm delivering for you. Cool? So if you like what we're doing so far here today, drop a comment below, maybe a heart, maybe a 1, saying I'm here, I'm ready to go. I'd love to see that you're ready to rock this. Brent, this is for you. Thanks so much for asking. Let me do that, Brent. I'll hold it for a little bit so you can skim to where I show it. Perfect. So his question is, the idea that he's very curious and wondering how to address this idea. How do you manage to find time for all that you talk about and do? One thing that I've been learning over the past few months is that I have a tough time managing my time. To be able to just work at home, take care of the home, try to make time for my wife, still get enough rest, find time for myself, seems like an impossible task sometimes. I'm curious how you go about it. Great talks and keep rocking. Thank you so much, Brent. So here's the idea. I wasn't dialed in on this. I'd say I was pretty good at this before I stepped into the land of high performance. And once I stepped into the land of high performance coaching, but also high performance principles, one of the principles we teach is the art of time blocking and taking breaks. So these two things have been pivotal to doing this. Now that's the tactics. Let me go over the principle. The principle is that whatever I'm doing, I'm bringing full engagement, joy, and confidence to it. You feel it? Like right now, right here with you, hopefully you're feeling this full engagement, joy, and confidence. So that's a practice of me getting my rest, eating nutrient rich, hydrating a lot. I got my bottle of water right here. Honor the struggle, baby. Got my bottle of water. And really going after that. So I have to do the fundamentals. Now the way I teach that is in my 10-day Health, Wealth, and Happiness Challenge. That goes over these basics. Hydration, sleeping, eating, exercise, taking breaks. But to really go after having the time, and it really is a mindset thing, to have the time, sometimes we just have to tell us, I have the time. And it's a shift in our mentality. Because everybody has the same amount of time in a day. Why is it that people, from what Brent said, like me, seem to have it dialed in and where he's struggling? For me, it was a big shift. So in order to get to that level, really living into time blocks and really living into breaks, where you integrate what you've done, think about what you're gonna do. And I take my breaks about every 60 to 90 minutes and really own that. And it's been really pivotal. Now, a big part of this I didn't cover is that in 2006, I sold 90% of my things and decided to live a life of experience, not stuff. So let me say that again. In 2006, I decided to live a life of experience, not stuff. Doesn't mean that I don't have things. I do. The things that I have, I either get joy from or I find useful, or both. If you ever read the book, The Magic Art of Tidying Up, that's a huge part to this. Really, really pivotal. So here's an example. Like before, when I had so much stuff, just walking through the house exhausted me. Don't have time to fix that, don't have time to play with that, don't have time to do anything with that. Now it's very simple, meaning that I don't have a lot of things distracting me. So there's a sensation of simplicity and a sensation of, yeah, I'm living a simpler life. And that's a huge part of the mindset piece. You follow? So if I was going to give you like the top 3 things to really go after in terms of managing time, first of all, your body, energy, sleep, hydration, eating nutrient rich most of the time, taking breaks, exercise. Those are the first 5 parts of my 10-day health, wealth, and happiness challenge, which you can get to at bit.ly/10 days, the number 4, the letter U. So these are really pivotal things that help. The other side to it is, once you get beyond that, is time blocking, bringing full engagement, joy, and confidence into each time block. Taking that breather, like coming up for air in between your time blocks, 5 to 10 minutes, and just decompress. Resituate your energy. We teach something in high performance called walk, meditate, energize, intention. So go on a 2-minute walk. If you have never meditated, we teach release meditation. Shut your eyes, breathe out, just release. Release. Just say those words for 2 minutes, and whatever comes your way, release them. Release the thoughts, release whatever it is. It's a great way to level out your mind. And then third, energize. What does that mean? It means like energize your body. So one of the things you can do, I have a kettlebell right off camera down there, do 20 kettlebell swings. Talk about bringing oxygen in your body. So maybe 20 kettlebell swings or 20 burpees or whatever that is, or just breathing, like concentrate on breathing, and then set intention for 30 minutes. Like visualize, how am I gonna bring simplicity into this next 30 minutes or this next 60 minutes or 90 minutes before I take another break, right? And what am I doing here? So the question I'd ask if you were concerned about this idea of taking care of the home, taking care of your wife, getting enough rest, all this, is how, if you're with your wife, how am I gonna bring joy, presence, like presence being connected, not distracted, and confidence to the next 90 minutes with my wife? That presumes that you and her have some things you like to do together, right? To really go after that. So I really want to make sure you get that. If there's any questions about this, Brent, feel free to comment below the replay of this, or feel free to reach out to me, private message me. I'll give you video training, tools, tactics, whatever I can do to support you. Very good question from Brent. Came right from Facebook. Thank you so much, my man. I can't wait to hear what I've shared, maybe one thing that you'll like, that you'll try. It would be awesome for me to see that and play for you. Loving life, feeling a little more vibrant. See, the thing is this, I would never want somebody to go through their life and look back and have regret. You know what? I should have dialed that in my 40s, right? I should have dialed that in earlier in life because I robbed myself of this beautiful engagement of life and really having some fun as I went through the last part of my life. If you haven't read the book, The 5 Regrets of the Dying by Bronnie Ware, totally recommend it. If you don't have time to read that book, fine. Google it. The 5 Regrets of the Dying. You'll get a nice little caption. It's a 1-page blog post that goes over thousands of people she interviewed on their way out of life. She was kind of like a hospice nurse, and the things they reported that they wish they had done differently, but it was too late. And it's such a growth kind of conversation. Thanks again, Brent. All right, now we're on to Sarah's question. Huge shout out to Sarah. And her question, Sarah is in our monthly, let me rephrase this, our life and business mastery community. And she is owning it. Sarah Jeans, hey, old performance, let's rock it. Her comment was, thank you so much for bringing up the right customer conversation. I totally understand the discovery process and refining my own consistently after some hard-learned lessons. Now, I'll frame all that for you if you're not familiar with what this material is. So her question is, how do you go about firing a customer when you know that it's the next necessary step? I have one customer who started out very hopeful and had maybe a victim mentality, but the last couple months, that person's been drowning in the victim mentality no matter how much time, effort, and insight I provide. I'm humble to say I might not be the right coach for that person. I don't want to burn any bridges or discourage that person from furthering their self-development. Your insight is greatly appreciated. So let me rewind here. Back in 1998, many of you in Facebook remember, I used to have a huge company called Internet Services Michigan. And in that company, we were serving thousands of people. And I remember there was a handful of them, like 6, that we had to fire. They would call in and they would just take the team morale down. We had 15 people working for us at the time. And I was like, dang it, I got to call these people and fire them. And that's not a conversation you want to have, right? But I thought about that and I was like, what can I do to front end so that we have a better, what we call in the world of business development, qualification process. A better qualification process that almost eliminates that idea of, I don't want to work with this customer in the front end. So here's the way I broke it down today, and I hope this serves you, Sarah, and anybody else who's watching the replay. Really, really important. First of all, assure you know who your customer is that you do love to serve. I don't like customer avatars as much as I like customer ambitions. So I have a sheet that I've created, it's actually in the computer, that says the customers that I love to serve have these qualities, traits, characteristics, and even mindset, and maybe even values. So I just pepper them all in. So one of them is they want to help the world in some way. That's like a pre-qualifier for me. Another one is they really love the power of great relationships. Like they have good relationships with people they serve, people they help, their husband, their wife, if they have one, their kids, themselves. And maybe right now they don't have that because of the way life showed up, but I can help them get there, to paint that ambition, to go after it. You follow? So that's a really big part of this. So you really have to qualify, and I would challenge you to get out a sheet of paper, write down the people that I would love to work with have these ambitions. Simultaneously, or in another sheet of paper, write down the people that I'd love to work with commonly struggle with these things. And so a lot of people that I work with commonly struggle with how to make money online and how to do it consistently for the long term. Because that's what sustenance is all about, right? We got to pay expenses every month. What are we doing to bring in income every month? So we really want to talk about sustenance. So that would be part of the struggle. They're just not able to maintain and go after that. You follow? So that being framed, those are the 2 big parts. Next, once I know that, then I develop questions that go into a questionnaire. I do all mine in Google Forms that really break it down. That say, and you'll see it, and I'll put a link in the replay here for that question. Actually, I can just give it to you. The question is, it's a BIT address, bit.ly/mastery app. Mastery app, MASTERYAPP. And you'll see that stuff show up. So if people go into that questionnaire and don't answer it entirely, they're automatically probably not a good customer for me, or I'll tell them, you didn't answer that real well. Go back in and answer it like you mean it. And I'll challenge them on it, and hopefully they own it. So that's a big part of it. And then I get on a 10-minute discovery call, usually, with people that are thinking about it, but I'm just kind of questioning whether they're really going after this or that's just kind of a dream for them. And I'm listening for blame, excuse, denial kind of conversation versus ownership, accountability, responsibility kind of conversation. Feel the difference? So that's a big part of this. And I just want to make sure that we have this framing. So with that being framed, I think I've given you enough to kick it. If you need more, just let me know. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to give you more guidance, more help there. But the rough idea as we answer that question, thank you again, Sarah, for rocking it, is the idea that we really want to have a qualification process and a discovery phone call. So I'll do the discovery call, Zoom. I prefer face-to-face, even through video, so I can see the energy before I work with people. And then, of course, everything can change because you know how people can be. But then we're kind of assessing as we move along. So I hope that helps, Sarah. I'm going to make sure you get the recording of this and that link, bit.ly/masteryapp, and that will really help propel that for you, I hope. If it doesn't, let me know. I'm happy to answer that. I'm going to take care of it from there. Let's see what else we got. So if you're just joining us, we have questions. Shannon, Brandon, let's see what else. We got a web review to do, and Rob. Got questions from Rob. So let's go ahead and handle Shannon's question. And Shannon is a certified high performance coach, and she asks, kind of a lengthy one, the gist of this is she wants to assure that she's hitting this kind of revenue, 100K, doing coaching and making sure that she is serving the world, but also taking care of the income side of things. Now, this is a common struggle with a lot of entrepreneurs I've served over the last, since 1994. So what is that? 2018, 1994, 25 years-ish, is that they need to have sustenance in their income. And it's one of the reasons why I teach recurring revenue equals personal freedom. Because if you leverage recurring revenue, meaning that you don't have to be there trading time for money the whole time, payments are just set on automatic coming in like subscriptions, like the Netflix generation, that's a huge part to all this. And I just want to make sure we frame for that. So her big question is, for the live coaching sessions on Zoom, how many folks typically show up? Is a training then group coaching? How I manage my hour for my session would really help. So let's answer that first. Typically out of my group, there's like 70 or so members in our group, and typically 20 to 30 show up for the sessions. But every time I do a live session, which we'll be doing one tomorrow night, we have a replay available for them, and they can watch it, and they can get their mastery. Now I offer the replays as a video replay and an audio replay. Sometimes, and I'm starting to think about doing this across all of my products, is to have a transcription too, so you can read it. And if you don't know of a good transcription service, TEMI.com takes any audio you got, transcribes it for like 10 cents a minute. It's automated, so it's not a person transcribing it, but it makes it quick. So the answer to the question is the training, yeah. So the way that I approach the hour is this. I go over the overview of what the topic is. In high performance coaching, the topic could be purpose. Then we go through the coaching process where I have them answering questions in their journals. And then we do a Let's Coach piece where we do interactive through Zoom for anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes, depending on how much time we have. And then after that, we do a close down, which reiterates what we've covered and then also talks them through the idea of what the next session is, what they need to concentrate on between now and the next session. Does that all make sense? So I hope that helps. I think I've covered everything you had there. Yeah, and you had said like, how do you show up? How do you handle like too many people in the group asking questions? Here's what I found. Like out of 20 to 30 people, like 3 maybe to 5 will offer to be coached. Like the ratios are pretty low. I haven't run into the problem where too many people have asked to be coached. But if that happens, I do have, we call in our mastery community, a round table every month. And it's on a Saturday from 12:30 to whenever, where I answer all questions that have collected over the month that I haven't already answered. And then the people in it can ask me anything. So I'm there for anywhere from an hour to like, I think the longest was 4 hours. And just answering questions. And I would strongly suggest that you do that with your coaching group if you're doing sustaining like recurring revenue-based coaching. So question number 2, I found that groups on Zoom with video and all the participants can be very distracting. Are your participants on video? And yeah, so the participants, we do use Zoom, but I'm primarily teaching most of the time. And you can just zoom in on me and turn off everybody else. And then when we go into Let's Coach piece, you can watch, depending on how you have Zoom configured, it will show the person who's talking. And it will show them and it will show me if we're coaching back and forth. So I think that cuts down on that idea of the framing of getting too confusing with everything in that regard. Third, I love that you follow Kajabi, which is the tool that we use to generate income, to do replays, courses and everything. Kajabi is an amazing tool. And what's your question? Oh, that we had? Yes. The idea here with this question, and it really is more of a statement, is that we had a lower price point, kind of like I'm doing for this Livecast. For up to a certain point, you get in a lower price and you get extra bonuses. We call that in the Life and Business Mastery community, the Founding Members Program. Then we had another tier called the Early Bird Program. Then we have the general membership price. This similar thing here is for $197, you get 2 hours of training and Q&A as an early bird afterwards, like unlimited Q&A. Really, really powerful. But as soon as April 7th at midnight ends, that price goes up to $297. And the Q&A, depending on how many people we have, I can't do more than 50. That's the limit I set, because that would be a lot of Q&A. That will go away for those people, but they'll still get lifetime access to the replay of the live cast and the replay of the Q&A session. So I'm thinking, this is my thoughts, that the questions that those 50 people ask are probably going to be pretty encompassing. But here's my goal. If I put the replays up and there's questions that people come up with, I'm going to add bonus videos in there too. So I hope that kind of frames for you. And you struggle with the amount of money people pay in terms of what you're trying to create. what's been my experience, how many folks do you have on the site, how many show up for calls, and I went over those. So the pricing goes like this. The more you charge, the more attention they pay. So a lot of people, they're going out with a $29 a month kind of thing. My challenge is to go to $85 or higher, and here's why. At $85 a month, or $87 is best practices, using a 7 on the end, people, that's about $1,000 a year. So you need 50 people to get $50,000 a year, assuming you retain them. 100 people to get $100,000 a year. You see how the math works? And at $87 a month, do your training, but also do a live Q&A, because that's the price point. That's the juxtapositioning that you can use in your offer to be like, you know what, not only are you getting training, but you get Q&A time with me. And that's priced normally at $300 an hour or whatever that is for you. And we get that Q&A every month as we go through this. Does that all make sense? I hope that does. If it doesn't, you know I'm here for you. Let's see. Yep, you said with one of your first products, you should have done the math. Is it doable to make a coaching group where there are 100 people? Is that manageable? I just kind of went through that. I definitely think it is. I can't thank you enough, Shannon. There's your questions and answers. And I'll make sure you get the replay to this, and you can tag or scrub the line to get into the replay on Facebook. But also I'll give you the video snippet, because I'm going to be snipping these videos out, editing them all. All right, next up is Rob. And Rob's question, a couple questions from Rob. Look at all that. Love it, Rob. Really good stuff. The gist of his questions are this. He, like so many people I work with, they have that idea that they've been giving information for free. And now they got to go to the people that know, like, or love, I say, and trust them and charge them for stuff. I just had this conversation with one of our business mastery, life and business mastery community members this morning, and they got to charge them. And they have a problem with that from a courage perspective, or they're like, don't want to really have that conversation. So the idea is, how do you have the conversation of I got to charge you with somebody that already knows you, then you've already given them free content? Let me make sure there wasn't any other specifics. Okay, so the idea is this, kind of the big question here is, how do you take relationships where they're used to getting information for you from free, and how do you start charging them? Now, my practice has always been this. You know what? That's something that we need to cover at a deeper level, and that's part of a coaching program that I offer. Or it could be a coaching call, one-time coaching call. And if you don't know what to charge them, like you could say, it's $300, and you'd be like, you can do what I call the empathetic reversal. And that's like, you know what? It just can't be free. But what could you afford for an hour? Now, just so you know, I charge $300 an hour, or $1,200 an hour, or whatever that is. And let them have that frame, so when they come back, they're like, you know what I can probably pay you right now is about $100. You're like, okay, let's do an hour, hour and a half for $100, and I'm going to break that down for you, and we'll really work on that. It's that empathetic reversal has been the gate opener for me and so many others regarding the idea of charging people. And Rob, because you're in our community, this Saturday we'll have our live monthly Zoom. So make sure we role play that together. And I'll play the person who's one of your friends you've been giving free advice for, and we'll really own that conversation for you. So I hope that helps. I know another part of this question that I want to make sure I hit for you is the idea of how do you get people to take your answers more seriously? And it is, like I said it earlier, the more people pay you, typically, the more they pay attention. Does that make sense? Like if somebody, you're paying $29 for a monthly training, you're like, I can come or go. It's not a big deal. It's $29. But if you're paying $297 a month, you're like, I better attend that. I'll spend a lot of money in that, or I better cancel it. And that's how I play. I want people to either be in or not in. I don't want to be like, I'm not spending too much, blah, blah, blah. So it's really, really important that you have that idea of the more people pay, the more attention they pay. So I hope that serves you. Again, if you have more questions regarding this, just let me know. And I'm more than happy to help you there. Let me see what you got here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You just confirmed that answering this for you this way was really helpful. So let me make sure we have your name here. Rob, thanks so much. You asked such great questions. I know a lot of people in our community really benefit from that. All right, next up is Brandon. Brandon's question. So if you're just joining us, I'm just doing Q&A. It's what I do to help people in life in business, and online. And the way I do it nowadays is I print those questions out, put their name on it, so in the replays they can skim till they see their name, Brandon in this case, get their answer, get their clarity, but also that you can benefit from it as well. So here's the idea from Brandon. He has a company that he's running, and in his company, it's an irrigation company. He's been doing that for many, many years. And now he's a certified high performance coach. And he wants to incorporate coaching into his company. So what I really want to make sure of is this. When you get certified in a process that can help people, for whatever reason, and I went through this back in 2013, I felt like, the people that probably need this the most are the people I know the closest. But I'm afraid to even ask if they want to be coached. So my situation was this. I said, you know what? I would love for y'all to come into a group, like with my team at the time. I had like 12 people in one of my companies. I said, I'd love for y'all to sit in at the end of one of our meetings for 10 minutes. We'll talk about coaching. If you feel like it could be for you, fill out the application, and we'll just tag on the end of our meetings an hour-long coaching where we go through what we call in high performance the core sessions: clarity, energy, courage, productivity, influence. And we have that conversation. And if at any time you don't like it, you can leave. And again, what I talked about in Rob's question just a moment ago, it can't be free. So whatever it is for you, it could be $10 a session. It doesn't matter. It just can't be free. Because I want to make sure that you see there's a value to this and you're putting some skin in the game. You determine what your price is, it just can't be free. So that's a big part of this dialogue. So here's the idea, and it's a hard one to have, is you got to come up with methodology in your world to really own it from the perspective of how can I introduce the idea of high performance coaching? How can I get the struggle of what our team has or in individual ways is having and connect that to high performance? So here's what I've seen with a lot of teams is they're, kind of coming in, it's a job and going after it. But in a high performance perspective, we come in and we're ready to serve. So they need a lot of courage. They need more energy. They need some clarity about what our mission is. They need some purpose. These are all different sessions that we run. Obviously, Brandon, you know, because you're a CHPC, certified high performance coach. So we've really got to assess where they're at. So my challenge for you, if you think about bringing this into your existing business, is listening for people who really need high performance, but they've admitted it on their terms. You'll hear things like this. I need better relationships with my customers. Like if you're working with another company, they need better relationships with their customers. That's a high performance conversation. I need to be a better leader. That's definitely a high performance conversation. Courage, influence, leadership, purpose, all these things. Living productively. So these are huge parts to this, and I hope that helps. If you want to role play this, this Saturday we're having our live Zoom monthly roundtable. Let's get in there and really role play how you can have conversations. My challenge for you is to pick 3 kinds of people that you're like, I would never consider having the high performance conversation with them, and really going after it. Does that sound good, Brandon? So that, I hope that helped. Big part of it is you just have to have the conversation and help them and really own that. So that's that question. Let me see if there's any others. We have a web review. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to actually just do the web review with you guys right now. And let me set up for that. Does that sound okay? So just so you have framing for this, on our ISGFL website, we offer free web reviews where people submit their website or their social media, and then I break down best practices, what they're missing. Usually in the web review part of the application, they'll say in there like, I'm not getting seen enough, I'm not showing up in organic research results, and all those kind of things. So this is from a company, pest control company, Cox Pest Control here in Florida. So I'm going to get the laptop and we'll get set up for that. All right, let's break this down. I'm going to put this over here. Hopefully it doesn't screw this up. Okay. So here's the idea. Here's their website. Now I've done a little bit of due diligence on this so that we have a framing for it. So in a website today, we want to make sure first and foremost that it's mobile compatible. And I did the test to see if this was mobile compatible. And let me bring that up. And there's a responsive test that you can do so that it automatically adjusts menus and so on. And as you can see, it is mobile compatible. So that's good. Another is that you are clearly stating, from Google's perspective, exactly what you do and how you serve the world. And we try to prioritize that in the services that people are actually searching for. So they know in their services list, pest control, termites, lawn care, new construction, real estate. And those are very good pockets of places down here in Florida, especially with termites. Part of the year, there's termite infestations that happen. So that's a really, really powerful piece. And then in the pest control piece, they have specific one topic per page with the hardest, the most value that they can provide towards helping people. And it's ants, termites, bedbugs, cockroaches, fleas, spiders, and silverfish. And these are all things people search for in Florida. Like red ants are huge, huge problem. So they've done a really great job of that. Location-wise, they have their locations. Let me see if it comes up as we bring that up. And they have their locations documented. And about us and contact, that's cool. But the idea is, so far they're doing pretty well. They have individual topics per page. The problem is, as we look at this website, a couple things. First of all, they haven't updated the content. If you look over here, you'll see the news blog has header, subheader, paragraph. Like they didn't even put content in. It says test blog post. So Google loves three things. It loves original, engaging content. Engaging is where you are compassionate in your content, where you acknowledge the people who land for ants, that you acknowledge you're having a problem with ants. Here's some of the things you're probably struggling with. Here's what the world can look like without ants. And here's the service that we have that can help you get rid of ants. And then a clear call to action underneath. If you can show struggle where you have an ant infestation or red ants before and it's not there after, the befores and afters are really powerful. So that would be something to assure they have. Let's just take a look at their ants page to see if they have any of that going on. Yeah, let's get into ants. Here it comes. Rocket it. And so they have carpenter ants. So they're missing a huge boat here in the sense that carpenter ants, that's a problem, obviously in Florida, but there's red ants and there's other kind of ants, and they're only regurgitating like stats from Wikipedia or from an encyclopedia about what a carpenter ant is and what they do. They totally miss the idea of compassionate speak. Like, are you struggling with ants? Are they chewing through the wood in your house? Are the red ants biting you or your kids or your family or your dog, right? And here's what the world can look like without them. Imagine a world where you come home and you don't have to worry about ant bites, or you don't have to worry about a part of your house falling apart. Here's the service that we have and how to get into it right away to handle that. Now they have a kind of clear call to action, schedule a free inspection, but look at this. Way are they a problem? Your information goes here, how we treat them, your information goes here. Like their site isn't done. And they're wondering why the results aren't there. So one part of it is original, engaging content. The second part is that content needs to be aligned per page, one topic per page with how people search. So this is an ant page, and it should be optimized for the ant problems that we have in Florida. Red ants, carpenter ants, these kind of things. And you may have ant infestation. And I won't go into the details of how to optimize in terms of the technicalities, but the idea is right up here where it says carpenter ants, it should say ants dash carpenter red ants ant infestation. Like you don't have to put that word ant in every time, but that helps Google understand it. And then you have to reference it in the content too. And that really helps be clear about it. But none of that really matters unless you have the third part of SEO and process, search engine optimization. And that's getting that page linked from, shared, and used in relevant popular places. And guess what? Twitter, Facebook, all these places count. So it's getting links from other places, preferably relevant links in the topic of pest control from other places around the area, around the world, like chamber listings, news releases, all of these kind of things to help rank that page up in the search results. You follow? Really, really important. So with that, from the perspective of getting results, just want to make sure that we've covered a few things for you. First and foremost, you have to make sure it's mobile compatible. That's a check. Second, one topic per page. That's a check. Third, and this is where things fall apart, we don't have all three of those SEO rules in play. One, original, engaging content, very clear calls to action. 2, having that page aligned with what people are actually searching for. Like in Southwest Florida, I've done the research. People are looking for red ants because they have an issue with that, carpenter ants, and ant infestations. And these words need to show up on this page. And then for rodents, they would need to show up. Rodents, rats, mice, that's a big problem in Florida. For termites, same story. Termite infestation, termites, these words need to show up on that page. But the most important piece is the third part, and that's having links from other places into those pages. A really good social media strategy is to say, are you having an ant infestation? And give them a little bit in the clip, like a Twitter tweet that says, here's 3 things you need to know about getting rid of ants. And then send them to your page that says, here's a couple things you can try, but if you want the professionals to come in, we're here for you. Schedule your free inspection. You follow how we're giving value in advance? So that was a real quick kind of overview of best practices today from the website, and I hope you found that beneficial. I'll make sure to clip that out. Thanks to Cox Pest Control for putting that up in our isgfl.com website. So that all being said, let me see if there's anything else that came up. I think we're good to go. That all being said, we are good to go. I got all the questions answered. We're set. I hope you found some value in this today. I love helping you. Love flying like Superman. Rocking it out here in the studio today, just answering questions. Thought I'd bring you on Livecast and rock it out there too. Again, if you want to learn how we were able to hit 6 figures inside of 8 months, and we weren't doing a formal launch of that, I'm going to break that down for the 7 lessons learned and the 7 things to avoid, because it took a 1.5 years to get there. And that's in a live cast that we're doing a week from Saturday. If you want to get in on that, it's bit.ly/membership training. And I'm so happy to help you out and rock it out, kind of laying that curriculum out, listening to what people are saying. So we're going to do a 2-hour training on the 7 lessons and the 7 things to avoid. We're going to take a 30-minute break that day, and then I'll be on Zoom for 50 people doing Q&A too. So if you want to get on that Zoom piece, that's the early bird bonus. So go ahead, click on it, go after it. We'd love to see you in there. With that all being said, cannot thank you enough for being here with me. If you got something out of this, drop a comment below, like it, share it with somebody. You need somebody that needs to hear what we talked about today, especially that time management with Brent's question. Tag him below and say, go to Brent's question at the beginning. You'll see his name show up. I'd love to help you out there. So have an awesome, awesome day. And I cannot wait to get some questions from you and answer more. So talk to you later. Bye.